Okay. Chapter 9, Fixing Up the Fort. And we read in Chapter 8, Rex and Ronald McCoy were on their way in a boat somewhere, and the kids decided that maybe they were on their way to the island. So we'll have to read to find out if Rex and Ronald discovered the secret fort that they made. Fixing Up the Fort. David's birthday party was a barbecue on the beach in front of their cabin. The cousins kept glancing across the lake and listening for the sound of a motorboat. So far, there was no sign of the McCoy brothers. Dr. Daisy Bridger was blonde like David and tall. She wore blue jeans with a western shirt, and her hair was in a long braid over her shoulder. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," she said, handing David his gift. It was wrapped in newspaper and tied with string. She was practical as well as thrifty. "Thanks, Mom." David hugged her after ripping away the paper. Inside was a new sketchbook. It was zipped into a waterproof case with colored pencils, perfect for canoe travel and mapping Lost Island. He couldn't wait to get over there, but the next morning, chores kept the cousins in town. Their job was to arrange bricks at the Western Cafe for a new patio. It was hard work and took 3 days. Uncle Wyatt and Aunt Lily paid them $20 each. Finally, they were able to return to the island's quiet cove. "I just hope the McCoys never made it," Jeff said after they beached their canoe. The cousins hurried to the fort. The picket gate was open, but otherwise nothing seemed amiss. When they noticed a cluster of footprints below their lookout tower, then a candy wrapper trapped in the brush, Claire stomped her foot. "I knew it," she cried. "Rex and Ronald have been here. It's just like them not to pick up their trash. Now those boys are going to bother us all summer searching for the cave." David put the litter in his backpack. "Well, let's hope they didn't see our fort. Then they won't know this is the right island." "Yeah," Jeff added. "If they don't find the treasure right away, I bet they'll give up." The cousins made a table by rolling in an old log they found in the clearing. They could tell it had been used long ago as a chopping block because there were all kinds of cuts from an axe on the top. Set upright, it was large enough for them to spread out their sandwiches and a bag of chips. For seating, they used a smaller log, the chair, and the stool. Then they hung their sweatshirts, canteens, and other gear on little branches of their pine tree. With all the dangling gadgets, it was as colorful as a Christmas tree. By the fireplace, they stacked kindling in case they should want to fire. Even in the summer, the mountains turn cold. Finally, Jeff and David decided it was time to build a platform in their lookout tower, which was near the cabin. "We'll be up high enough to survey the island," they told their cousin, "and search for other clues. I'll stay here with the dogs." Claire wanted to organize things and ponder a proper name for their fort. So to ponder means to think about. The oak was one of the tallest trees on the island, its branches thick and easy to climb. In their backpacks, the brothers carried hammers and nails and some small boards. The higher they went up in the trunk, the more sway they felt from the wind. So they get up in the top of that tree, they can feel it just moving from side to side in the wind. Think about how that might feel. It would be a little bit scary. They hung on tight. "What a view!" Jeff cried. "Totally. I didn't know the lake was so big," said David. His blonde hair blew around his face. The water was turquoise, reflecting the sky, and most of the shoreline was forest. The other islands were also dark with pine. From their perch, the boys could see the Blue Mountain Lodge and its ski hill in the distance. Streams looked like silver ribbons curling through ranches and farmland. The town of Cabin Creek resembled a miniature train set with tiny stores and tiny cars. Their mom's animal hospital was a tiny box near the park, and nearby was the Western Cafe. Jeff and David set to work. They hammered boards around the upper trunk, but not into the bark itself. Their father had taught them how to do this without nailing into the bark, which would hurt the tree. Soon they had seats safely wedged under the sturdy, strong limbs. There was room for David to draw on his sketch pad, and they could sit comfortably with their binoculars. Next, they looped a long section of rope around a branch. To this, they attached a pulley, which they nailed onto their platform. Jeff climbed down to the ground, then went to the fort. Onto the cabin's roof, he nailed another pulley. Now the rope looked like a telephone wire stretching up to the tower. Jeff climbed back up to the platform. He called Claire on his walkie-talkie, even though they were close enough to hear each other shout. Pushing a button, he said, "Delivery system ready. Over." Her voice came through the crackling noise. "Be right over there. Over." A few minutes later, the boys saw the rope moving inch by inch. The pulley creaked and squeaked. Soon a bucket appeared. Inside was a small jug of lemonade. Missing its cap, much of it had sloshed out. David set it beside him, then returned the pail. More creaking, and up came a bag of potato chips. They were crumbly, but the boys didn't mind. There was nothing like a snack after hard work. "Mission accomplished," Jeff said to Claire. "You and the dogs okay down there?" "Over." "Of course," she answered. "I finally have a name for our fort. But there's something you have to see. The sooner you guys get down here, the better." So here's a picture of their tree. If you look real close, you can see that pulley line that they were using. And really like the end of this chapter. I think it's pretty suspenseful. It leaves me wondering what Claire has to show them. I hope it leaves you wondering that too.